Welcome to the Dragon's Library, your source for games, movies, shows, and more. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dragon's Library. I actually have some news today, so before we get to our episode, we're going to go through that. I've been working on a new project, a new sort of type of episode that I'm going to be revealing. It's currently being planned for this next Thursday. It might be the Tuesday after next if that doesn't work out. But it's something I'm really excited about. It's called the Reference Section. And it will be an occasional episode, a bit more scripted, that will go over large franchises, mostly those that are a bit more obscure. And I will basically go over the basics of the story. And and the reason I'm doing it is because I've recently wanted to review some old, rather obscure series. But I don't want to review the whole thing. I want to review like one or two books. And I need everyone to have a sort of basis understanding of it. So the idea I came up with this is whenever I run into a series like that I want to review, but I don't, want to review the whole thing, I can basically have a, podcast that will go over the basics and get everyone on a sort of baseline understanding, and then we can get straight to the fun stuff of, talking about it and laughing about how ridiculous it all is. So that's, coming up. Look for that soon. For anyone who goes to the Buy Me a Coffee pages and subscribes to the $2 a month membership, you can actually get to see that a week early. So, not a week early, I'm sorry, a few days early. It's going to be either 3 to 4 days, depending on if it's a Tuesday or Thursday. So, I'm really excited about it. I really hope it does well. The first topic is Bionicle, because I'm a huge Bionicle fan, and I really want to talk about it for a long time. So, look forward to that. Anyway, let's get into today's episode. So, today we review Marvel's What If? This is actually a really fun series. I really like the idea behind it. So, for those of you who don't know, the Marvel, it's a new TV show on Disney Plus, and the premise is, it's a bunch of what if moments. So, now, after Loki, we know that the multiverse exists now. So this is basically going to be other timelines of the Marvel Universe. The idea is, hey, what if blank? The first episode is, what if Peggy Carter became Captain, got the super soldier serum instead of Captain America. So she became Captain Carter instead of Captain America. And it's actually really cool. I thought it was going to be something like simple, like maybe we get 2 timelines per episode. We go through a brief, here's what happened, and here are a few clips, and then, no, they kind of run through a Cliff's Notes version of the entire Captain America movie, from the super soldier serum scene. So, okay, so for the premise, it's basically, that's the whole idea. So the narrator is this being called the Watcher, and the Watcher, from what I understand in Marvel Comics, is this cosmic being that, watches. They're either a species or a single being, I don't really know the details, who watch over the Marvel Universe and record everything. Think of them as just passive observers or even readers. Ha ha ha, meta. But, anyway, so yeah, that's the whole premise really. We're just gonna go through some crazy timelines. We don't really know if there's gonna be a connective tissue yet. We do know that there's some talk that Peggy Carter's going to be coming back for another episode, maybe in season 2. So it's possible that, we're going to be getting to see the outcomes of some of these timelines, not just like a brief snap view into it. I actually really like this so far. The first episode was a really good first foot forward. I mean, most of the first episodes are always really good. Marvel's does a great job of putting their concepts, especially their crazier things like Loki or Captain the Winter Soldier or WandaVision, and getting you hooked right away with a lot of questions and ideas and just really good execution. I've always been a fan of animated stuff, so this in particular was just a really fun thing for me. It's just seeing all this stuff animated. They're able to do a lot of cool things they're not able to do in the live action movies. Peggy has a really different, so basically, okay, let's get into the basic thing. So, if you want to watch this, spoilers will abound. It's really well made. There's a lot of animation stuff. Peggy has a different fighting style than Captain America. She has a lot more of a brute strength rather than a skill and martial arts thing going, which I thought was kind of interesting. And all in all, yeah, I'm looking forward to see where this goes. There's that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, so this might all be important. And I've heard a few people talking about how this might end up with some kind of like, what if Multiverse Avengers team forming to fight some kind of chaos god, or maybe Wanda because she's gone all, I have to find my babies again because her kids and WandaVision's ending. That ending was harsh. Like, I know Wanda's entire character is trauma and reacting to trauma, but like, seriously, can we stop like kicking her in the chest and just let her have a happy ending for like once? I mean, seriously, she got screwed over in the comics and now she's getting screwed over in the movies. It's actually kind of depressing. I mean, I guess that's her character. Yeah, her character is literally just endless mental trauma, but, anyway. So, yeah. Alright, we're going to go on to full spoilers now. If you want to see it, go see it. I highly recommend it. It's good. It's on Disney Plus. I assume most of you have access to Disney Plus, and if you don't have access to it, just find someone who does and say, hey, can I borrow your account for a little while? It's all cool. We all share accounts. I'm currently sharing an account with my entire family, my brother, my parents, and 3 of my friends. So, yeah, just find someone who has it. So, yeah. Okay, so the what if scenario starts out in the super soldier serum. So, for those of you who haven't known, this is heavily based. This episode is set during the Captain America: The First Avenger, like one of the first few Marvel movies. If you haven't seen it, who am I kidding? If you're watching a review about Marvel What If, you should probably have seen this by now. If not, go watch it real quick. It's a really good movie. You can just like pause and come back. Okay? Everybody here who's seen Captain America? Cool. Okay. I'm going to assume you all have seen Captain America, the first Avenger now. So, they're in the scene where Cap is about to get the super soldier serum. And, the whole gimmick is that this is all changed by like one moment. There's like one moment that changes everything. And it's the question where, Stark or the general asked Peggy, wouldn't you be more comfortable up in the stands? And she's like, and she just looks at Steve and decides, you know what, I'm going to stay here for you. And she says, no, I'm perfectly fine here. Now, there's a bomber, a spy who's going to bomb the facility when he gets close enough to the doctor, kill him, try and steal a serum. And as a result of Peggy deciding to stay down there, all of the other, military and scientific guests who have come to watch this experiment decide to stay down there with her, including the bomber. Now, as Steve's getting ready for the procedure, the bomb goes off, kills the doctor who made the serum, and he also kills the general who was like a secondary character in Captain America: The First Avenger. I forget his name off the top of my head. And tries to kill Steve. He wounds Steve with a bullet, but that means that Steve can't do the procedure. In addition, the bombs damaged a lot of the equipment, and with the doctor dead, they'll never be able to get these settings back again. So they have to do it now or never, and Peggy decides, I'm the only one who can. Stark, there's this other general guy there who's like, Stark, get in the chair. It's like, I have to do all this. Nobody else can operate all this machinery. So Peggy jumps in, she becomes a super soldier and gets berated because, well, that, good general who respected her got killed by the spy, and this new guy's kind of an a-hole. So, yeah. She's, getting a lot of blood taken. They're ranting about how we were supposed to have a super soldier, and now we have you. Ugh. Like the way they treated Steve once he was the only one left, but even worse, So, Peggy gets pissed. They find out that that Hydra is going after the Tesseract. They actually managed to figure that ahead of time in this movie, as opposed to later on. And they learn that it's being transported. So Peggy, going against orders, and being given a new, her suit and her shield by Stark, decides to go retrieve it on her own because the new general guy won't approve, stopping the science the cult that was too evil for the Nazis, because, yeah, that's the Red Skull's backstory, in the movie universe, is that he was too evil for the Nazis. Jeez. From getting a power source more powerful than an atomic bomb is unimportant. The new general's a moron. I like the other guy from the actual movie, but this guy, I guess we had to in order to get this plot moving, but he's just the worst. Sorry, he really is. And Peggy goes in there, and I loved all the action scenes are phenomenally animated. Like, seriously, whoever animated these things, beautiful job, love it. They do lots of, like, continuous shots, so you get to, like, see it without any cuts. There's this whole musical scene later on after, when she's, like, getting acclaim and becoming famous or whatever, going on multiple missions in a row, the montage sequence. And the moment when see, Captain America usually fights, like, a bit more, like, strategically. Like, he'll grab somebody out of the car, throw them around, usually hop into stuff. Peggy is like a tank. She, as opposed to, like, throwing her shield and disabling trucks by, like, hitting the wheels or whatever, she'll just ram them with the shield, absorb the force with the vibranium, and crush it, flip the car over her head, and throw it to the ground. And when she realizes what she could do, she just goes nuts, and she's just bashing into cars left and right. Which I kind of like that she's like the tank version. Like, because remember, Steve was the little skinny guy. He was always, like, really underweight. So, of course, even when he gets the massive muscles, he's fighting more like an acrobat or whatever, trying to dodge and home. Yeah, he's punching, sure. But when he's dealing with vehicles, he's mostly trying to go for weak spots and things like that, whereas Peggy just bashes straight in with the shield, using it almost like a hammer. And it's like, oh, it's a difference in how they fight. Because she was actually really fit, and she was like a secret agent, She already knew how to fight, even with a lot of decent strength. So becoming a super soldier, she was just like, yeah, now I can treat trucks like they're people. And stuff like that. It was just really cool to see the differences in those fight scenes. Plus, Peggy just has a lot of fun with this. Like, this whole sequence when she's first taking the Tesseract is basically her playing around with these powers she's only ever gotten to take out aggression with on a punching bag. And now she has a bunch of, Nazis, which you can murder as many Nazis as you want in any form of fiction, and there's just, like, no karmic backlash. Like, seriously, you kill a Nazi and everybody in the audience just cheers because you murdered a Nazi. Good for you. That's immediate karma points. And so, I just love how she just goes hog wild playing around with the shield. It's just fun. It really plays into the goofiness of this premise, and I love it. The whole what if premise, not necessarily Carter becoming Captain America. I actually think that's a really good interesting idea. I almost wish we had gotten to see like a full Avengers with her as like Captain America. She's a lot of fun. But the goofiness of the what if premise, For those of you who don't know, actually, fun fact, this what if show is actually based on a series of comics Marvel apparently published back in the day called Marvel What If. And they were a lot of different things. They were like, well, actually, a few of them even turned into premises. Let's see here. Because, what was it? Jane Foster becomes Thor. What if she had found the hammer instead of Donald Blake? Long story, Thor used to have a secret identity. Not important. Odin is regularly kind of an a-hole. So, yeah. And, yeah, that they just play around with premises like this. What if the Fantastic Four gotten different powers? What if Spider-Man had been more of a spider than a man? That kind of stuff. Crazy Silver Age comics. And I just really like how this show is playing into that premise, going wild. And they really do take this premise all the way. See, Steve doesn't die from being shot. He's injured, goes through a bit of rehab, and he's back on the force. But he's not a super soldier anymore. But he's still very trusted. He went through training with Peggy. She thinks she's, awesome. He's friends now with Howard Stark because he's been around him a lot. And when they managed to get a hold of the Tesseract, Howard's like, we could put this to use. So he builds a prototype version of the Iron Man suit. Kind of looks like a hybrid of the Iron Man armor and the Ironmonger armor, except with better boost rockets. So it's not like super slow to, get off the ground. And he actually chooses Steve to be the pilot. So he becomes like the first proto-Iron Man. So like Peggy Carter is like Captain Britain, although Captain Britain is apparently a different character in Marvel Comics, but she's like Captain Carter with the, Unions, like the, Union Jack on the shield. And he's the, giant hulking, Iron Man of America. And it's actually a really cool team dynamic they have. He even gets kidnapped they even have like a moment where she like saves Bucky from falling off the train like he did in the, in the first movie where he became the Winter Soldier. And Steve gets kidnapped. The Red Skull, being backed into a corner, having lost all his options, not having gotten his weapon, decides to try and open a portal to another realm and unleash a monster that he thinks will either conquer the world for Hydra or destroy it, but he, doesn't care because either he rules the world or it stops being a world at all. And yeah, it's all this really campy, ridiculous thing. And there's even this moment where, near the end where, like, they're talking about, cause, when Captain America went into the ice, when he crashed the plane to land in the ice, he had this moment of like, we have that time for the dance. It's like, how about Wednesday? It's like, I'll be there. And, then he goes to sleep, and when he wakes up, everyone he knows is dead. And there's this same moment with Peggy, where he's like, you need to teach me how to dance. It's like, Wednesday then. We can go then. And cause she has to push the monster into the portal in order for them to start to close it. And when she goes through but she ends up getting sucked in too. And then you see the scene from, the Avengers, the actual Avengers movie, where, they're testing the Tesseract, trying to open portals. This is like the same place where Project Pegasus, where Loki appeared. And this is apparently a little while before that happened. And instead of finding Steve in the ice while looking for the Tesseract, a little while after they were, working on the Tesseract, they were working on this thing for years, Peggy pops out of one of the portals it creates. But she doesn't realize any time at all has passed. And she's freaking out, and they're like, it's been 30 years. And, or 70 years, whatever. It's like, but I had a date. And it was kind of cool just like seeing Peggy. It's almost like we, fun fact, I actually really do like Peggy Carter. I think she's one of the best characters in the MCU, especially out of the earlier films. One of the best side characters. Obviously, you have, Iron Man, Captain America, you had Hawkeye, you had Black Widow. It's like, aside from the main core Avengers, out of all, the side secondary characters, especially love interest, I think Peggy Carter was the best. Especially since she actually got her own TV show. And if you have not watched Agent Carter, go watch Agent Carter. It is really good. Please, more people need to see that. Also watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's unrelated. I mean, it's kind of related because Agent Carter references a lot and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. references back. But, seriously, go watch both those. They're good shows. After you get through the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know the first season can be rough for some people. It gets better. Here I am reviewing a Marvel thing and going to tell you, go watch more Marvel. Like, you're not all sick of Marvel by now. I don't think I'll ever get sick of Marvel. I've rewatched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recently, and it's just like, I love it so much. And Agent Carter is, fantastic. Like, seriously, it's really fun watching Carter. Like, I think she's an interesting character. So yeah. I guess this is wrap it up. One of the other things I actually think, before we finish, I guess there's one little last part, is a fun bit, is that they were actually able to get most of the original voice actors back for this thing. So the guy who plays the Bucky Barnes comes back to play Bucky Barnes. Obviously, they get the person who played Agent Carter. They get the guy who played the General to play that General, even though he immediately dies. They did not get the same guy for Steve Rogers, though. They got someone else, but he does a really good Chris Evans impersonation. I gotta give him that. So, all in all, really cool idea. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm actually really looking forward to the Marvel Zombies one, because I've always kind of had a soft spot for the Marvel Zombies comics. They're one of the only comics I've actually read a whole series of, if that makes sense. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. And, yeah. So, looking forward to it. We've got a few new episodes trailered from what we've seen. We're going to see something with Doctor Strange. We're going to see something where Killmonger is Tony Stark's bodyguard and stops him from getting shrapnel to the chest. We're going to see something with Gamora and Thanos' armor holding his, dual blade. So maybe, she killed him and is now, the new Thanos, or, trying to redeem herself in her father's old armor or whatever. And then we're getting, what else? The Marvel Zombies thing, obviously. So, looking forward to all that. Anyway, we've got that project I mentioned at the beginning coming up soon. Again, really hope you guys stick around for that. And yeah, that's about it. You can follow, if you want to, help out the channel, help us grow. This podcast, is really, I'm really trying to put a lot more time into the podcast, post some more on the page, on the official Twitter. Really give it a life of its own. So you can check us out at Dragon_Library 2 on Twitter. You can also email me at thedragonslibrary.main@gmail. If you have any questions and if you want to suggest anything you want me to review, I'm always open to it. Next, I'm probably it's kind of up in the air what the next week's review is going to be for this coming Tuesday. But I think I'm probably going to review Rampage. I recently watched that, and nowadays everything I watch and or read has to be for this podcast, so might as well use it. Use it or lose it, you know? So yeah. I think that's about it. You can support us at Buy Me a Coffee. The link is in the show notes below. Thank you so much for listening, and yeah. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, and thank you for listening to The Dragon's Library. Please subscribe to this podcast to be notified of new episodes. The Dragon's Library releases new episodes Tuesday and Friday each week, and you can follow us on Twitter at dragon_library2. If you want to suggest an episode topic, my email is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for all your support.